music, food, and games here at the Point Pinole Shoreline Festival, celebrating North Richmond. Now I want to bring up some of our local leaders who help make this possible and are always big supporters of the North Richmond Shoreline Festival, have been for more than a decade. We're also going to recognize some incredible leaders for lifetimes of service right after this. So please let us have your attention for that as well. We also want to hear from a man who is a longtime champion of environmental stewardship and healthy living and parks and our outdoor spaces here in the Bay Area. The man who I work for, in fact. His name is Contra Costa County Supervisor John Joya. John, come on up.
Thank you, Robert. So is everybody having a good time today? So aren't we fortunate to live in the best place on earth and the best place in the Bay Area? And we're out here where the community comes together and we're enjoying this park, this open space, the shoreline. And this didn't happen by accident. This happened because many people like you or the organizations that are out here fought to create these parks, fought to save the shoreline, fought to clean up our bay. That's what makes our community great. It's not just the beauty of the environment, it's the beauty of our people and fighting to preserve that. I get to serve on the San Francisco Bay Restoration Authority, and it funds wetland restoration projects around the Bay Area because 2 years ago, 70% of the voters in the Bay Area voted to tax themselves to improve San Francisco Bay. And I think we all deserve a hand for that because we care about our bay, we care about our environment. So I encourage everyone to visit the wonderful tables that are out here because these are community groups on the front lines doing great work and just being out here supporting each other. So thank you for coming out here. Thank you for everybody that puts this together every year, the volunteers, the staff. That's what makes Richmond and West Contra Costa County beautiful and great.
Now we want to move into a time where we're going to honor some of the great leaders that have made this possible, that have made North Richmond and its great heritage possible. Leaders who, without their work, we would not be here today. I'm going to start with our first recipient. His name is Jeff Inglis. Mr. Inglis previously served as a member of both the North Richmond Shoreline Open Space Alliance and the Point Pinole Restoration Advisory Board. He's currently a member of the Community Advisory Group for the Richmond South Shoreline area. When this festival was on the verge of being no more, before Lana took over, Jeff, who's a friend of Whitney Dobson and one of the last board members of the NRSOSA before it became a festival-only endeavor, he stepped up and he helped pull together teams to keep the festival going for years. He contributed financially to provide supplies when public funds were not enough. He retired from the EPA and he's a board member of the Citizens for East Shore Parks. He's active in environmental causes in the East Bay for many, many years. This man has selflessly sacrificed to protect our open spaces and to be here for us today, and we want to honor him now. Jeff, thank you very much. Please have a few words with us. Please give Jeff a big round of applause.
I really don't have much to add to that. I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. We're going to go ahead and present you with a plaque of appreciation. Contra Costa County Supervisor John Joya and Richmond Mayor Tom Butt are going to give you the plaque. Let's take a photo here. This plaque is on behalf of the North Richmond Shoreline Alliance. Again, on behalf of the North Richmond Open Space Shoreline Alliance. Thank you so much, Jeff.
So Dr. Clark and Whitney grew up in the communities of North Richmond and Portchester Village. Their families, just like hundreds of other families, migrated from the southern parts of the United States post-World War II. And they came and worked in the shipyards and local industries. And there was plenty of employment, plenty of jobs 24/7 around the clock. So the Dodsons and the Clarks helped build and establish North Richmond and Portchester communities, although there were many obstacles to overcome. Living in the Bay Area was good and prosperous compared to black family lifestyle in the southern states. North Richmond and Portchester were separated by creeks, farmlands, and salt marshes, with a common border being the North Richmond Shoreline. These areas were Henry and Whitney's family's playground and food source. Children played in the creeks, using their imagination vividly. Families fished on the shorelines. Wild vegetables were gathered for the dinner table or purchased from the local farmers. The farmland was called a lettuce patch. These two men grew up connected with the environment and how it should be. So, with that, I would like to talk about Dr. Clark. Dr. Clark is a North Richmond resident. He's founder and president of the West County Toxic Coalition, and he has organized and protested for environmental justice for over 3 decades. He has traveled and taken his campaigns for environmental justice all over the world. A statement made by Dr. Clark as follows: "It is the public's right to recognize and campaign against the disproportionate effects of environmental contamination on low-income communities of color. Through his efforts and determination, major changes have been made toward the betterment of life and environmental justice in the communities." And so Dr. Clark continues to serve on the North Richmond MAC and participate in numerous organizations for environmental justice throughout the Bay Area. So with that being said, I think we'll get both of them up at the same time. So I would like to give you a little information on Whitney. So Whitney's father, the late Reverend Richard Dobson and family, has been on the front line of Richmond's environmental advocacy and justice for many decades, fighting for environmental justice in an area impacted for so long by industrial use. Currently, Whitney is a member of the board of directors representing Ward 1 for the East Bay Regional Parks. And he is also president and co-founder of the North Richmond Shoreline Alliance and a member of various environmental organizations all over the world. As an adult, Whitney worked for CC Public Health Services. He's seen the connection between the region's public health issues and the lack of open space. While working on various issues and causes, Whitney took on the campaign to save the Bruner Marsh. And as a result of that campaign and others participating with Whitney, the marsh was saved from becoming an industrial complex, and East Bay Regional Park brought land, and the marsh was restored, and today the marsh is called the Dodson Marsh. So that was a great success for the Dodson family. And with that being said, I would like to present the awards to Whitney and Henry.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for those stirring words about the incredible work that Whitney Dobson and Dr. Henry Clark have done. If I could call up again Mayor Tom Butt and Contra Costa County Supervisor John Joya to be able to present these plaques of appreciation to these two tremendous communities champions. We're also going to have Colin Coffey from the Parks District, Whitney's longtime colleague, to help present these plaques. So first, Whitney Dobson. Let's get these photos here. Give him a round of applause, please. Preserved for posterity. Thank you very much. Now let's present a plaque to Dr. Henry Clark. A big round of applause, Dr. Henry Clark. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Let's get a few words first from the great Whitney Dobson.
Hello, it's a beautiful day. God gave us the environment to protect and restore. This whole area, shoreline, is one of the most magnificent spots in the world. Not just the Bay Area of the United States, but the world. You look at the mountains over the mountain range over San Pablo Bay. It's quite a pleasure for us to have this to have our kids play, a safe place to play. I see all the little kids over there, the ones about this high. They're like my granddaughter, just quick and we've got to protect the legacy of this space being very special. And it's a pleasure to see what community can do to make things happen and to keep things from happening. So we have to make sure that this is available to us, you, your grandkids, for many years to come. This has been quite an experience. Thank you. Yeah, I would also like to thank the Park District, Lana Husser, Henry Clark, Paul Foster, Bob Doyle, Robert Chasty, Kevin Takai, and Kevin is retiring, and we're going to really miss him. He's over 30 years of service to the Park District and to you. So if I'd like all of the names that I read and the ones that I didn't get to, a big hand of applause for the wonderful work. Okay.
Thank you. Whitney, another word?
Yeah, Josh Brandt. He's right there. Yeah. Thank you, Josh. All right.
Thank you so much, Whitney Dobson. I can think of no one, in fact, I'm sure there's no one in the world more responsible for the kind of preservation and championing of this open space in this area than Whitney Dobson has been in the 20th century and 21st century. I can think of nothing more profound than Whitney Dobson today gazing at the little children who are playing on the beautiful shoreline that he, as much as anyone, helped protect and preserve. Thank you so much, Whitney Dobson. And now we want to get a few words from Dr. Henry Clark, another community champion whose contribution is immeasurable to North Richmond and to this area. Dr. Henry Clark.
Thank you, Robert. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Shoreline Festival. This is the 15th year that the festival has been going on, and when Whitney and all the people that he mentioned that's part of the North Richmond Shoreline and Open Space Alliance. When we started over 15 years ago, we know that we had a long battle before us to make this reality, but we set out anyway because we know that time was with us, and that the idea of people being able to come out here to the shoreline and enjoy this beautiful scenery, we know it was long overdue. And as they say, you can't stop an idea whose time have come. And we've fought for over 15 years to make this a possibility. So while we are today here enjoying this festival and beautiful scenery, you just have to be honest with you, and you keep in mind that it just didn't happen overnight. You know, it took long years of struggle, but we were committed and we hung in there. And I'm saying that to say, all the young people out here today, whatever struggles you're involved in, don't give up and don't throw in the towel, because you can make your dream come true, make it a reality, especially if it's a just cause. Now, we know that just recently there was this global climate justice conference that was held in San Francisco, that was convened by Governor Brown and some other people, and it was to continue the efforts to address the climate justice issues that was discussion that was started in Paris, that the United States and the Clinton administration pulled out of. Well, the fact is that in terms of any climate justice here in the Bay Area, the greatest efforts and success in terms of addressing the issues of climate happen right here in this community, here in Richmond, in the Richmond area, in Richmond and North Richmond, period. So anywhere in this state, and probably as I'm aware of, pretty much in this whole country, the climate efforts happen right here. I know that the climate justice movement that started right here in the Bay Area. So when it comes to addressing climate justice or environmental issues, you can't leave out North Richmond, you can't leave out Richmond, because we have pioneered in terms of environmental justice and climate justice, and we will continue to do so. So we're not no Johnny-come-latelys when it comes to climate justice. And we will continue to fight and struggle for not only environmental justice, but justice, period, for our communities and their people. And we will never, never, ever throw in the towel until the final victory. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
At beautiful Point Pinole Regional Shoreline, and we got something for everybody. We've got music, we've got water. I understand there's kayaks down at the beach. I saw lime bikes down where we came in. Got a big crowd here today, big family day. Folks, this is where it's at.
We've celebrated our shoreline here in the North Richmond area at Point Pinole Park for 15 years. Of course, the work began a lot longer than that. And it began with some of the people who we've honored. We've been honoring the founders for NORSOSA, and again, that's called the North Richmond Shoreline and Open Space Alliance. We've been honoring those founders, those people who had the vision and the energy to say, let's teach the community, let's keep people involved, let's educate people about what's been happening with our shoreline. You couldn't choose a more beautiful place to spend your day. First Saturday of every October, we have the best weather. I'm going to use all superlatives here, right? Because this is it's the highlight of my year. It's community. It's a wonderful place to go and share with your community, to share with the political leaders, with the environmental leaders, with all the volunteers. Look how many children we have. We have the next generation out here. They're learning, they're playing, and they're seeing the world we want them to see it. Thank the City of Richmond, the City of San Pablo, the East Bay Regional Park District, incredible, and the California Coastal Conservancy. Their donations have made this all possible. They've sponsored us, knowing that that's what we're doing, is educating and involving and celebrating with the community. This is true diversity, equality, and celebration with our community.